All right, good Wednesday evening, everybody. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Tim Pandajis, and we had a severe thunderstorm watch up until 7 o'clock for a good chunk of the area that was allowed to expire. And now we have a severe thunderstorm warning, and that's actually outside of the zone that was put under the watch earlier. This is out in Wharton County, just to the west of El Campo. And this is up until 9 o'clock. So for about another 20 minutes, there's a better look at where it's located. You can see a pretty potent cell right there. Lots of thunder and lightning. And of course, very heavy rain. When the Weather Service put out this alert, they said 1-inch hail was radar indicated on this. Certainly a possibility there. Our hail product wasn't showing quite that, but it's certainly a possibility in this little core here just to the south of Providence City there. And it is moving on off towards the east with a slight northeasterly component there at around 25 miles an hour. I'll put a storm track on it for you here, put it from the center of where that hail track may be. Areas like Louise at 8:59 just before the top of the hour, El Campo itself at 9:15. Again, that'll likely be after it's already allowed to expire, but it's not really shown much in the way of weakening. Let's do a storm profile on this and cut it in half and kind of see how high this storm is growing in the upper levels of the atmosphere. There it is, and this is kind of interesting here to see too. When we see this white shading that's indicated here, and the growth is only up to 20,000 feet, so it's relatively a low-top thunderstorm cloud. But you got a little bit of an instance of a hail core there, and that could be exactly where we are finding the potential of that 1-inch diameter hail. When it is radar indicated, we are pretty far away from the radar site that is out near League City. So you're sampling the atmosphere of that hail core very high up in the atmosphere, so likely not getting a good sense of exactly what that is reaching the ground there. But there's a look at that El Campo area. A severe thunderstorm warning up until 9 o'clock for this warning polygon moving towards El Campo and well to the southwest of Wharton. Now, all of this is being brought on by our cold front that's in the process of dropping its way through southeast Texas. Look at the difference with this shift in wind direction. 53 now in College Station, 65 still at Bush, 70 in Sugar Land, 72 at Hobby. Keep in mind, it is 8:42 in the evening in the middle of January. We should not be anywhere close to this warm, and that cold front's going to bring us back to reality, and it's going to be a big reality check for the next couple of days with those winds turning blustery tonight out of the north and eventually setting the stage for our potential of some wintry weather in parts of the area. Don't get too excited. We're not looking at a big impact event here, but we could see some wet snowflakes and some sleet pelts as this whole system comes to an end tomorrow evening and early Friday. The cold front there to the north, just look at Amarillo, 21 degrees right now, 62 in Austin, it's 40 in Dallas. Dallas earlier was in the upper 70s. And check out this difference, different worlds pretty much. So severe thunderstorm watches up are still here in eastern and western portions of Louisiana. We get a gap where we're located. We had that severe thunderstorm watch earlier allowed to expire. And then winter storm watches and warnings are up all the way to South Texas to Brownsville and the Mexican border. And that's where the highest probability of seeing some more impactful winter weather will be. We're going to kind of be in between that and get just the back edge with some colder air rushing in behind it. Now, I do want to show you here as well, it's going to get blustery tonight, especially in coastal areas. Wind advisories up. And we can see 35, 40 mile per hour winds as those winds shift direction out of the north, transporting in the colder and somewhat drier air throughout the area tomorrow. So again, there's a recap of that severe thunderstorm warning in that area near El Campo and Wharton County. Everywhere else just dealing with a pretty dense line of showers and thunderstorms. Some have been on the stronger side, but this is our first severe thunderstorm warning of the evening, and that whole line will continue to sag its way southeast as the cold front pushes it closer to the coastline and eventually clears the coast by, say, around midnight or so early tomorrow morning. There's the southern portion of that line, and most of it lifting or dropping, I should say, southeast. Here we are just after midnight, right along the coastline, and just thereafter, it's out over the open Gulf of Mexico. We get those northerly winds. Temperatures by tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Low 40s, upper 30s, and we're not going to do much warming at all tomorrow. We're going to stay pretty much in the low 40s at best. A lot of cloud cover, some drizzle, some mist, just a nasty type of day. And then by, say, early afternoon, we'll get our next wave. So that cold front is hanging out along the coastline. That's going to be like the train tracks for our next system to track along. A little wave of low pressure develops, throw some moisture our way into our colder air mass, northerly winds replenishing that colder air, and we'll see some pockets here of some heavier precipitation. Why that's important is when you get an atmospheric profile that's marginal, in the upper 30s at the surface, so just a couple 100,000 feet up, we're at or around freezing. So that heavier precipitation pulls down that colder air and can lead to a brief changeover of maybe some heavy sleet or some wet snow. That's just where we find the heavier precipitation. Most of this will be on the lighter side because it's interacting with the drier air, and that dry air is absorbing a lot of the moisture before it reaches the ground. But that will also help to lower temperatures too, if we get enough of it. And then here we are, 10 p.m. Thursday. Still some light shower activity, but temperatures are continuing to drop. And by early Friday, in the pre-dawn hours, here we are at 4 a.m., models show another round of some light precipitation, but at this point in time, surface temperatures are falling even more, closer to the freezing mark, so we could have some light sleet, some light snow, most of it too light to accumulate. We're not expecting any travel impacts, any accumulations, but here we are right through 7 a.m. We could have some snowflakes flying on your morning commute, but shouldn't cause any issues there. By Friday afternoon, it's all gone. It's going to stay chilly, though, and unfortunately, this chill isn't going to be like the last couple of cold outbreaks that we saw that lasted for a day or two, and then we warmed back into the 70s. In fact, today we hit 80. I don't think we'll see 80 again, or even 70s for at least the next 10 days, possibly through the end of January, which is normal because the average high this time of the year is low to mid 60s. So we're not going to be anywhere into the 70s going forward. There's a look at those temperatures. We're going to have a pretty good freeze in areas to the north. By the time we get into early Saturday morning, we could have some 20s on the board there. There's that freeze line sagging all the way south to Pearland and Sugarland, Pasadena down sub-freezing there. There's the outlook right through the end of the month, 6 to 10 days out from NOAA, shows the eastern portion of the country below average temperatures. And as I mentioned, our average this time of the year is in the low 60s. So that's the latest update. We've got that severe thunderstorm warning in Wharton near El Campo until 9 o'clock, so for about another 13 minutes. Once that expires, we'll monitor the rest of that line as it drops through with the cold front. David and I will be on air, on TV, in about an hour and 15 minutes at 10 o'clock with the latest updates and see if there's any model changes in our wintry threat heading into tomorrow. We'll see.